This episode was sponsored by Property, the leading real estate agent for all real estate transactions with a comprehensive ecosystem. They combine highly trained experts with the latest technologies on an intelligent platform to provide clients, brokers, and service partners with risk-free, flexible, and simplified services. Learn more at property.com. That's property with an i.com.
At Holistiq, we take people when they are suffering so much and they haven't found any solution that they are ready to pay out of pocket. From a business perspective, it's a lot better because you can really catch people when the willingness to pay is high and bring tangible results that they can feel.
Welcome to the Swisspreneur Show, a podcast about startup stories and learnings from experienced entrepreneurs. If you enjoy listening to our show, make sure to follow the podcast and leave a rating. And now, here's your host, Merle.
So today I am sitting here with Eric from Holistiq. And we actually already had you on the show. I think it was a couple of years back. Mm-hmm. And the last time we had you, you were giving us a brief introduction into your startup Holistiq. And today we want to go more into depth. We want to talk about your past, about your time at Batmate, and then transition into Holistiq and what you do today for all things healthcare in today's time. So thank you so much for being back and talking to us, Eric.
Thank you, Merle.
So before we start, let's talk about your background. You studied quantitative finance and worked in banking for several years, including commodity trading, before joining the startup world. Can you tell us what was it about finance that got you tired of maybe after a while, and what was your transition into the startup world?
For me, it's very important to have the opportunity to create and co-create with other people. In corporate environment, it's very difficult to make this happen. So I remember many times I took my boss aside in a room and asking for more tasks and more things to do. And I couldn't fit in the corporate environment. I was actually fired every time. It's something that no one knows. But and so I had this passion to create by myself and make one with what I create, with my heart, with my hard work and mastery. And this is what you can do as an entrepreneur. So this is why I left the finance environment. Yeah. Mm.
And then you actually already started investing yourself in like 2012 or something.
Yeah.
But Batmate was not founded until 2 years after that. Was that how you tipped your toes into the startup world?
So I've always been fascinated by entrepreneurship. I have always admired many entrepreneurs, and I've always as well as a child, had this frustration of not being one yet. Mm-hmm. And I leveraged on this frustration to actually become one step by step. And I've always kept in mind that life was better with equity when you have not only soul in the game in what you create, but skin in the game. Mm. So this is why I decided to start first as an investor and then as an entrepreneur to get closer to the founders. And at this time, I realized more than 70 investments in startups and scale-ups around the globe, mainly health tech and in the US. So for several millions already. So this was a real adventure, and I've learned a lot, made some mistakes, obviously, but overall I tend to bring value in my investments, be there for the founders directly when it's direct investments. And I'm learning in the process as well. Yeah.
Do you think it changed your approach as a founder?
As an investor, you of course understand the investor's interests. So when you raise a lot of funding, like we did for Batmate, for instance, with more than 30 million raised, of course you really understand the logic and expectations of investors. And so it's a good way to manage better your stakeholders as a founder. And as well understanding different investor profile. Of course, as a business angel, you don't have the same constraints than a VC. or then a family office. So it's like it's very interesting to see which investor you can pick for your startup and understanding the different phase of investment. At the beginning, of course, you're looking for more business angels and family and friends money.
Yeah.
And then after you transition into VC or family office, and then private equity. So it's like very important to understand the different steps. In Switzerland, the challenge is that you have a lot of business angel money, but afterwards you have nothing between the potential VC funding and the business angel money. And there is a gap here compared to many other countries. So this is a challenge where you need to be very strong and get traction from the beginning in order to bridge this gap. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's really, I guess, also helpful to understand the perspectives and the needs and the cycles before starting your own startup. So, and that's also what we want to talk about. You mentioned Batmate just now, but actually it started with an experience that you had also and your co-founder had. So do you want to tell us about the story of how Batmate came to life?
Yes, exactly. So my co-founder came back from the US. He tried handy.com. And he was like, oh, why not launching this in Switzerland? And I was like, look, I'm still in commodity trading. I need the markets. But in the end, yes, I think it was, of course, a very good idea. And we worked very hard to make it happen. And we came very quickly from just an idea discussed together to a company with more than now 5,000 cleaners in 6 countries. It was a beautiful story. And yes, I wanted to add that you never meet your future co-founder where you expect. We met around ping pong game, and it's always by like doing other things than work that you meet your co-founders, or most of the time.
One of the parts that you're also very passionate about was you wanted to fight the black market, and often cleaning services are done illegally. So can you tell us about how you noticed that issue and then what drove you and how you tried to impact that?
Yes, exactly. So currently in the life of a Swiss citizen, the only thing that is generally not done legally is the cleaning lady, right? So we decided to have this mission to actually fight the black market and in the end conquer the market by offering better conditions for the workers and for the clients as an organized company. So what's interesting is that it was a real journey because at the beginning we had this very innovative business model that very few people really understand is that the client was the employer of the cleaning ladies. This was Batmate V1, and we were doing all the management of the paperwork on the client's behalf. And then with the pressure of the trade unions, we had to become the employer, which was not great for the clients because they started to pay more. Not great for us because we're making less margin, and not great for the workers because we had associated to this a lot of regulation from the trade unions, for instance, limiting the number of cleanings per day to 2 instead of 6 or 7 per day per cleaner. And obviously this is not what the cleaners are looking for. And so I just want to say that there is a lack of understanding from the trade unions of what the workforce really wants. And in the end, for us, becoming the employer was actually not a good deal for anyone, just satisfying the ego of some trade unions. So the business model now works as Batmate being the employer in many countries. And it's fine. We have higher prices, but then we can invest as well a lot more in the quality through the Batmate Academy and increase the satisfaction of clients. Yeah.
So what exactly are the benefits and also maybe the protection of the agent side?
Yes, so for the cleaners, that's important to note that they have all the Swiss insurances, sometimes second pillar, and they can really have like normal employment with all the benefits and being able to retire properly. Which the second generation of migrants, they have families in Switzerland and they want to stay in Switzerland. They don't want to go back to the country. So it makes a lot of sense. But these things we had in any case from the beginning when the client was the employer. But this is in any case something that was always at heart. It was a real focus of Batmate. Yeah. Yeah.
And you mentioned before that the company has really grown a lot over the years, active in different countries. And then at some point you left the company. What made you decide to maybe also move on and focus on a different industry or different market?
Well, I woke up one morning and you ask yourself, what do you really want to do with your life? And for some reason, my life mission was not to digitalize home cleaning. It was an amazing first learning, but I really wanted to do something in healthcare since many years, since I'm a child. I left in good terms. They understood my interest. I sold a few percent when I left. Today, I'm still a major shareholder of the company. Yeah, after this, I was all in for new ventures, yes.
Yeah. You had another venture in between Batmate and Holistiq, which was again in finance. And apparently you don't take sabbaticals because right after that, you went straight fully into Holistiq. What's behind this drive, this seemingly unstoppable drive that you have?
I think it's my passion to create and co-create, like to manifest my reality through an alignment with my heart, mind, and action.
Yeah.
And I really believe in free will and your capacity as a human being to develop the things you have in your mind and go from your thoughts to an actual 3D manifestation of what you have in mind. And I really believe that it's 100% related to the focus you have on your thoughts and emotions to actually make it happen. So it all depends on you. I always have this deep awareness of earned happiness, of the difference between instant gratification and long-term investment in your work, creating meaning through a mission that will take years or decades. This is, in the end, something that is a unique pleasure. And I really love to do it. It's like as simple as this. And of course, I believe as well that this drive is related to the flow I experience in doing things. And I really believe that being in flow state is the best way to align your long-term goals with the pleasure you have to be in the moment and with the presence. And so this is a very important thing for me because you really feel that you are doing what you're supposed to do when you're in flow. And when you actually mix flow with goal directedness, so meaning that you pick your specific goals to make things happen and prioritize well, things are happening very quickly.
I find it specifically nowadays, especially because you were talking about instant gratification versus long-term. And if I look at social media, for example, I mean, that's like instant gratification, right? You look at it, you get stimulated. How do you find this flow? I find that sometimes really hard day to day.
It's a very good question. I think harnessing this flow state is sometimes very technical. For instance, we speak a lot about a morning routine.
Yeah.
But sometimes a morning routine is just killing your flow. You will use the first hour or 2 hours of your day doing things that are not fundamental for your work or to achieve something. So it's smarter to use the first 2 hours after wake up to just go to work very quickly.
Really?
Yes, because this is, from a science perspective, you have the highest flow state in the first 2 or 3 hours after wake up. Then you can do your daily workout maybe at lunchtime. But it's very important to leverage on this flow state, of course, when you know what to work on. This is the first step. So there are many ways to actually be in places with people, do some activities to increase these flow states. And some people are chasing this through action sports, through music, through orgasm, through anything that can get you out of your mind and make you more present.
That's so interesting. Probably like it really sets the tone of the day. And if you're, for example, you know, that is my goal today in work, I have these and these things that I really want to do today. You can take the flow, you can use it. And then vice versa, if you know, like, I really want to have a quiet day today. I want to be with myself, have like a personal day. That's also how you can set the tone in the morning, right? By using that flow and
Exactly.
directly shaping, basically using the first hours to shape the rest of the day.
You ultimately need to feel your own flow. There is what science says, and there is what you experience yourself. But if you're struggling too much on a task, it's very important to either change the task or to break it down into many subtasks, and then things are much easier.
That's a very good tip, because it's like it looks so huge otherwise, and you can never conquer it.
Exactly. Yeah, breaking it down is the key. Yeah.
Is that also part of your philosophy behind entrepreneurship?
Well, it's very concrete. I do everything on Mondays. Like on my agenda, you can see like it's...
Today is Friday.
I do everything on Mondays. Everything that I'm supposed to do during the week, I do on Mondays. Then the rest of the week, what do? I have meetings, I manage, I answer the things I sent on Monday. But it gives me like a kind of a deadline during the week to be in a super flow. And I do a lot during the week, of course, weekend included. But I think this notion of doing like everything you can on Monday, it's a great sprint.
That's really smart. Do you then block the day?
Oh yes, no
So nobody
meeting
can do meetings with you, and you get everything done, and then
don't talk to me on Mondays.
Your head is clear. Yeah, tip for everybody. Don't talk to Eric on Mondays. That's why we talk on a Friday. That's brilliant. I love that. And so with that in mind, what drew you into the healthcare space? You said already before that's something that you really wanted to do. What drew you into the space, into founding Holistiq after your previous ventures?
Yes, so for me, health tech has been like a huge topic. So my parents are doctors, and I've seen from an early age the limits of conventional medicine. And I've as well went to many biohackers conference across the globe. And then I asked myself a question: how is it possible to integrate medicine into people's lifestyle?
Yeah.
And so I started to invest, I checked the market, and I observed that billions are invested in rare diseases. You have all kinds of startups in the field of longevity or prevention, but for whatever reason, no one is really focusing on chronic disorders. Speaking here about gut health, metabolic health, hormonal health, so here women's health, especially menopause. And I really wanted to tackle this issue, which all of us are concerned about this. And we actually wanted to tackle this gray area of health. It's a space where you're not clinically sick, but you're not fine either. And so you are really looking for a solution. And so this is like, of course, a big difference with all this general prevention or luxury longevity offering that tend not to move the needles for people's health. Here we are speaking about real pain. And Holistiq is affordable and scalable root cause care that address people's real suffering.
Okay.
We are an online clinic to actually bring root cause medicine to the masses. And so by doing this, we help people that are either stuck for years in guesswork. And I can give you a very concrete example to know what we are talking about here. Let's take Sarah. Sarah has been diagnosed with an IBS after a colonoscopy. She had chronic diarrhea for 5 years. And the answer from the doctor is, you have IBS. And what's next? And then she's alone. So she starts to go on Google or GPT, and she reads that she should take supplements, namely fibers or probiotics, which is, when you don't have an optimized gut, dangerous. And so we read a lot of things on GPT or Google that are plainly wrong and dangerous. And so she will start to take supplements for 1 year. She will observe that it's not working, doesn't bring any relief even in the short term. Then she will try complementary medicine. She might try traditional Chinese medicine, for instance. She will try all kinds of herbs and mushrooms. It's not working. Then she will try maybe preventive approaches or longevity approaches and pay a fortune for nothing again, because you go to these prevention and longevity providers and they will tell you to go to the doctor. So Holistiq is the only solution for people like Sarah to actually solve their chronic disorders. And we do this through collecting data from an in-depth anamnesis, the initial questionnaire, lab tests to a network of lab partners all around the country, including microbiome tests and wearables. And we explore this data in order to go to the root cause of the disorder rather quickly. Mm-hmm. And so what we do in the end is really in the zeitgeist, because so far medicine was stuck because of the siloed mindset and the absolute trust on the dogma of the randomized controlled trials. And we are at a time where real-life data and detailed cohort analysis are key to actually connect the dots and see the human beings are connected to their environment. And I'm always surprised that, for instance, in the US, the guidelines of the top associations are, for instance, telling that if a kid is a bit overweight, directly give GLP-1, don't change the nutrition. If a kid starts to be a bit sad, give SSRIs, and so antidepressants. Mm-hmm. We are, and I think everyone knows it, we are in a system where the goal is to sell more and more pharmaceutical drugs and to actually do more and more volume, because the doctors are making money through the number of patients and not through the time they spend with the patients. Mm. So at Holistiq, although we are regulated and we are an online clinic, we take time for you through a mix of human and digital touch points to really support you. And we don't have only functional medicine doctors or root cause medicine doctors, but as well nutritionists and naturopaths and experts for your case that are actually bringing a complete solution based on the root causes. Mm-hmm. So this is what we do at Holistiq. Holistiq is as well suited for people that are sent from one specialist to another and over-consuming medication, what we call the medical nomadism, that costs hundreds of millions for insurances per year and is a huge cost for society. Here we can as well bring a big change for the healthcare system.
This episode was brought to you by Google Cloud, a partner that needs no introduction. What you might not have heard of, though, is that Google offers a Google for Startups cloud program where they give you access to startup experts, technical training, business support, and cover your Google Cloud costs up to $200,000 for 2 years, or even $350,000 if you're an AI startup. Scale your startup faster and smarter with Google Cloud. Head over to goo.gle/Swisspreneur.
How do you know who to work with, basically, and how do you then interact with the experts?
So the doctors and the nutritionists are either contractors or employed. So it's a model where we control the quality, but it's still highly scalable through the use of digital touchpoints in the customer journey and algorithms that are enabling us to go to the root cause very quickly in a scalable manner. We are as well scaling through different ways to actually make the most of the experts that are working with us through innovative business models like group coaching or live masterclasses. In a few weeks, we'll be launching an ADHD offering that will be the most complete online support ever created for ADHD, with worldwide ADHD diagnostics and online support in the form of, as I said, like group coaching, peer support, and actual courses on how to better manage your ADHD, to better manage your time, better manage your relationships, and all the neurobiological aspects to it, the impact from your gut health on your neurotransmitters, things that are very concrete and that can make a huge impact on people's lives.
How can I imagine the whole interaction?
Yes, so basically you're taken on a journey. So you just have to book a free discovery call at the beginning, and we take you step by step. Your expert that will be allocated to you based on your insurance, on your language, on what you're looking for, on your goals. We'll pick the right expert for you. You have then a doctor's consultation to actually prescribe the lab tests. then you will go next to your place, anywhere around Switzerland, and of course soon abroad. You go next door for blood test. If you do microbiome testing, you receive the sampling kit at home that you send by post. We receive all the data. And then from the second session with the experts, we already have a very personalized plan, really far from what the prevention and longevity ventures or the ventures are doing. So, for instance, like in the case of Sarah, we can find that, for instance, she had specific parasites that we had to eliminate. So we'll give a mix of medication. We don't say no to medication. We give a mix of medication and lifestyle changes, like on nutrition, we'll know exactly what she's mal-assimilating and what she needs to avoid. So that's very concrete. And after we have follow-up sessions to see the result and stability of the results. Of course, chronic disorders don't disappear overnight. So we need several sessions. But hey, it's covered by your basic and complementary insurances. So
I was just about to ask that. How does it work with the insurance?
It's a very important question. So basically, we have three legs. We have the telemedicine part, the online clinic that is covered by the basic insurance, the sessions with the experts that are covered by your complementary insurance, and the self-payers. So we have as well quite a lot of people that are coming and paying out of pocket. This is, of course, a great value proposition for people because we notice that, of course, people are not yet ready to invest in their health. And this is why most longevity and prevention initiatives are going bankrupt one after the other, is because the willingness to pay is very low. At Holistiq, we take people when they are suffering so much and they haven't found any solution that they are ready to pay out of pocket. From a business perspective, it's a lot better because you can really first catch people when the willingness to pay is high and bring tangible results that they can feel. This is why the prevention and longevity initiatives are not working so well. It's because you speak to people that are already healthy, so they don't notice a difference. It's really less tangible and less concrete than what we do. And so, of course, I want to add on this topic that everyone might tell you that they want prevention and they want longevity, but in the end, I dare to say that people overestimated the size of the longevity and prevention market because of this low willingness to pay. And I think it's very surprising to see this discrepancy between what people say and when is the time to pay, what people commit to. Yeah.
Do you think that there'll be a difference? Now we're talking, of course, about the Swiss market, but when you think about expanding into other countries, do you think there'll be a difference either culturally, but maybe also from the insurance models that you have in different countries in terms of willingness to pay for prevention?
So that's very interesting because the most scalable part of our business, so the telehealth part with a strong educational component, is very scalable. And we launched this ADHD offering all around the globe from day one. It's a great business model with strong unit economics where, because it's group coaching and not one-to-one coaching, it's still accessible to people. Can really scale to other countries even with a lower purchasing power.
Okay.
For the online clinic, yes, we need to replicate what we did here with a network of lab partners and navigating the insurance frameworks, but we can as well provide a service just for the self-payers to scale, in which case we can scale very quickly too.
I was wondering that because in Switzerland you pay upfront for the services that you get at the doctors, depending, of course, on your model and your franchise, etc., on how much you pay to your franchise. And I was always wondering how it impacts the thinking of prevention for the people that live here. I was always wondering that.
Exactly. So it's a very specific and complex topic. If you have a complementary insurance, you can have access to checkups without franchise, for instance.
Yeah.
But otherwise, if you have franchise of 2,500, of course, you have no incentive to go to the doctor. It works like this. So in the end, you will be indeed paying out of pocket. But this is why people have complementary insurances. It's because there is no franchise. So, yeah.
Do you think about also opening it for non-chronic diseases at some point?
So here, I would like to say that it's very important in entrepreneurship to focus and be already very strong at one thing.
So we go with this.
It's a very valid question because at the beginning, I, of course, wanted to cover all chronic disorders. And in the end, after a lot of market research and facing the market, actually more than market research, the biggest problem of mankind going forward for chronic disorders is gut health, menopause, and ADHD. This is the most important issues that people are facing. And so even women's health for, like period pain and irregularity of the cycles, there is no willingness to pay because of lack of education. There is very little clients there. So it's very important to actually focus on the essential. We plan to launch a men's health division in a few months, but we focus on women's health mainly, although gut health and metabolic health services are offered to everyone. But women's health is key because the hormonal challenges that women are facing during their lifetime is, as we know, a lot stronger than for men.
Yeah.
So this is our battle, and this is something that root cause medicine is handling very well.
And what else do you have in store? Where do you see Holistiq growing into? What's your future plan for it?
I'm not going to tell you. No, of course, it's very important for us to invest more and more in telehealth and education, because this is part of holistic health, right? It's not only about having an online clinic. I want to create at scale group coaching and live masterclasses across all the hot topics in mental health and physical health. We start with ADHD, but I have hundreds of other topics that are important for people and that requires live masterclasses and a proper digital experience. Far from these models like just showing videos, there's an inflation of videos on the market, and you can really see a lot of wrong things being said on the social media. So I want to offer vetted content, top quality experts in live masterclasses covering a lot of topics. In gut health, for instance, you have, IBS, leaky gut, dysbiosis, constipation, bloating. It's a lot of things to handle and to actually create online support on. So Holistiq has the goal to become the world leader in telehealth.
Simple as that.
Yeah. Is
there anything coming up that you're specifically excited about? Any feature or masterclass, for example?
Yes. I mean, everything is very exciting. We are always looking for more scalability. And every time we implement a feature of our IT roadmap, it's a big relief because we can do a lot more with less people. And developing these models where we can really offer our services at a reasonable price for the masses. So that's very exciting to make it work with the right technology.
And can everyone attend the masterclasses?
Yeah, it will be open for everyone, and you will be based on the diagnostics we do at the beginning.
Yeah.
You will be recommended specific programs, specific modules based on the type of ADHD you have, for instance, based on your gender. It's very important, and your age and your goal in life. You will have slightly different programs, but still making it scalable. It's always a challenge, between the personalization and the scalability. But as long as you pick the right level of granularity in what you offer, and that you put things in boxes, you can actually deliver a lot of value for people at scale.
And what's next for you personally, Eric?
Yes, so for me, the mission is to always develop myself holistically in all areas of my life, from spirituality to friendships, love, sport, and stay holistic. I want to embody health and youthfulness. And at a deeper level, for me, the goal, as I mentioned, is to really becoming more present and to actually reduce my monkey mind and to actually be more in flow states, to see the world for what it is and not chasing happiness based on any preconceived notions that I have.
On what happiness should look like.
Yeah.
Do you have any resources, any books or podcasts or something that you consume to do that?
Quite a lot. I love to read. I think Mastery from Robert Greene could be a good one. A bit generalist, but that regardless of the stage you are in your life or in your entrepreneurship journey, it really shows that you need to focus and you need to do things again and again to benefit from this compound effect, to in the end make one with what you create. And this feeling of mastering your market, knowing exactly what you're talking about, is where you can have a lot of pleasure while building something significant for you and society.
And that's a great tip, so people can already Google it and order it when they listen to this podcast. Before we finish, is there anything that you want to share with the listeners, anything that you want to give people on their way?
Yes, for sure. Till end of October, I can offer 20% off the first consultation for anyone entering the code Swisspreneur at the end of the booking.
Cool. That is a wonderful giveaway. And with that, thank you so much, Eric, for being here, for sharing your thoughts and your perspective and all the great things that you do with your work. And I hope that people can take away a lot from it. And I'm very excited to see Holistiq blooming up.
Thank you, Merle.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, you can support us by rating our show on Apple Podcasts. This way, we can reach an ever-growing number of aspiring entrepreneurs.